Thanks, Neil, to joining us for your Sport Hungary. Nice to meet you. Firstly, I show you a Twitter post about your Twitter account. This is
oh wow, yeah.
One of the best atmosphere I have ever experienced in snooker in Budapest tonight with the captain 147. Thanks to everyone involved. Does it give you similar expectation for the weekend?
Yeah, I mean, I do remember it actually, and being really surprised because it was the venue was set up perfectly. They had really nice sort of like a tiered stand, and the crowd was amazing. It was electric. Like, they were so excited to see us play, and it's fantastic to see the sport grow. And this weekend now, myself and and the other players. I think we're all really excited to be here, and I believe it's the same venue as well. So, the crowd should be amazing.
But you will miss the Chelsea match tomorrow, and there is Liverpool-Manchester and Saturday. What does football mean to you? Do you follow the results during the tournaments?
Yeah.
And do you know how many Hungarian football players in the English Premier League?
Oh, in the English Premier League? I don't know. I mean, I remember obviously the goal of the year is named after Puskás.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just trying to think. Players from Hungary. I'm not too sure. I'm really not too sure. Who plays?
Szoboszlai in the Liverpool.
Oh, Szoboszlai. He's from Hungary. Okay. Yeah, brilliant player for Liverpool. Yeah. Yeah. I didn't realise he was from Hungary.
So you do you always follow.
I'm obsessed with football. Uh-huh. Yeah. I watch it all the time. I do like fantasy football as well, so always really well engaged. And it's it's a really good way to when we're at tournaments or something to watch the football, chill out, relax. A lot of the guys like to watch the football together, and a lot of the players are big football fans, and. It's a sport that I didn't really sort of like follow all that much from Australia because the coverage wasn't particularly, good. But now, like, the sport has grown tremendously, and I love it. Yeah.
For Christmas, you get a T-shirt said "introverted but willing to discuss golf." You consider yourself an introvert, and it can be a little bit difficult, especially. In the end of the big tournaments or in the gala, no? Or
yeah, it's sort of like a funny T-shirt. Yeah, it's like a friend gave it to me. Yeah, it's like I think it's like a general thing where people who maybe they don't like going to maybe some parties or something where they don't know anybody, and I think the joke behind the T-shirt is that two people can maybe not really have anything in common, but if they both love golf, then they can be like best friends in 2 minutes. So I think that's like the humor behind the T-shirt. And so, a friend gave it to me for Christmas, and it was very funny. And golf's like a new hobby of mine, really, that I got into the last few months and really enjoy it.
You have fallen in love with golf now?
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, it's really good. It's but it's a really healthy kind of thing to do because I'll get up in the morning with the kids and stuff, and drop them off at school. I'll go to the snooker club. I'll do my practice, and then I'll go to the driving range after. And it's a really good way to kind of just relax and everything, rather than sort of finish my practice, go straight home. I can kind of go to the range or something, hit some balls, and just. I've talked to other sportsmen about it as well that play golf, like John Terry in particular. He said that. He used to really enjoy it, like after football training, go to just even practice some putting or anything, and just like it's sort of like a meditation sort of thing of like and then when you get home, you're much, you're ready to kind of like be dad, I suppose, and I really enjoy it. My son loves it too. My son really enjoys playing, so and it's something that we can both do together and form that bond, with him.
This time last year, you were in for Christmas in Australia, and you received the book from Christophe, which helped you a lot during the difficult time about your career. Can you tell us a bit about this book, how it helped you, and and why you needed this book?
Yeah, so Chris is a great friend of mine. We both played junior snooker together. Actually, he was a very good player as well. But he's now become an incredibly successful businessman. And he reads an awful lot, and especially books about sort of motivation, inspiration, which you have to do to become really successful in life, I believe. And it was a book written by Tim Grover, who used to train Michael Jordan at the Chicago Bulls in basketball. He used to be his trainer, and he developed a huge training facility and everything to train other people like Kobe Bryant and Dwayne Wade and guys like that. And he's also developed himself as like a bit of a motivational speaker, and sort of working with Michael Jordan for so long, he knows what it takes to become the best. And the book, it talks a lot about the work that he did with Michael Jordan, but also with sportsmen in general, about how why all of a sudden can someone be at the absolute top of the game and then have an experience like I did last year, where I had like a really poor season by my standards. And what happened was that the season I had a couple of years ago, where I won 4 major tournaments, I won the Masters, Players Championship, Tour Championship, all like nearly in a row. Had my best ever season. How can I go from that to then 18 months not even be playing at the Crucible? So what happened was that I kind of got a little bit complacent in my mentality. I started thinking like, maybe can I play in less tournaments and go to Australia more often? Because I was like missing home a lot, right? Because coming from Australia, I've been professional for like 20 years now, and it's very hard. The Chinese players have to be based in the UK as well, but at least they're playing in like sort of 5 tournaments a year in China, so they get to go out there and stay out there a bit longer, where I don't really have that kind of luxury, So I only see my family like once a year, and that's very tough to do. And especially when, like my brothers as well, like I only see my family like once a year, and then 20 years, it's like, wow, it's just absolutely flown by. My brothers have got kids and stuff now, and so I'm missing out on a lot of the things I'd love to be involved in. And that's very hard to do when you're trying to be really ruthless in a sport, but also you got to try and think of your family life as well. So I started thinking, could I play in less tournaments, go back to Australia more often? And so I just got a bit complacent with everything, and I just lost that ruthless kind of streak, I suppose. I just allowed myself to, just get complacent. And basically what happens is, I remember reading a passage in the book, and it said that when a top athlete, top sportsman is at the highest level, and all of a sudden it drops off, and it could be anything. It could be like an injury. It could be complacency. They could get lazy in the summer and not train as hard. It could be anything. But to get that back can take a really long time. And before you realize it, it's happened. And exactly what happened to me. I just got a bit complacent with things. I wasn't, practicing it as hard. It wasn't like lazy, but I just... I was focusing on my son's football, because my son was playing at a really high level, and going to tournaments when you're in China, and I'd miss we'd go out there for the PR day on Friday or Saturday, so I'd miss his Saturday game. Then if I get to the semis, I miss his Saturday game. That is so hard as a father, to constantly miss out on him playing sport, and I really sort of struggled with that. And so I started I remember playing in the Scottish Open semi-final 2 years ago. And I never do this, but I had a flight booked just in case I lost the semi-final, that I could get back in time to watch him play in the morning. So it's just little things like that happen as as a father, right? That you do. I don't want to miss out on my kid's life. And I always said that as well, that, when I became a dad, that I wouldn't be one of these professional sportsmen who get to know their children when they're 20 years old, where I keep that kind of playing everything, barely see them. And then when I finish playing snooker, now I start to get to know my children. Like, I never wanted to do that. So I think finding the right balance I've found very tough. And so reading that book helped me understand that about the balances of life, of being a father, and And I remember Tim Grover put a post on Instagram actually, and I posted a reply to him saying thank you so much. Your book has helped me get back to the top of my sport, and which he liked, and that was amazing. And so that was a huge part of that, getting back to winning the English Open. With my dad there, it was the first time he ever seen me win a tournament live. So 20 years of 16, 17 years of winning big tournaments, and my dad's never even seen me win one. So that was very emotional for me, and as the reason why I put it as one of my best ever wins, because he's never seen me win before. And I think the British players don't really they can't understand that, because their parents are an hour away or something, or they just drive down the road to watch a final, where my family's on the other side of the world, so they miss that. And that hurts a lot for me, because they've been such a inspiration and a big part of my story, that they've had to miss out on so much of that as well, and watch snooker matches at 4 a.m. stuff like that. So this season though, I've really got the balance right. I'm practicing really hard. I think golf has actually really helped with just sort of like getting my mind right, the clarity right. Family life is going amazing, going really good. And, so that's why, I've been able to turn it around and have a good season.
You have a fantastic season. You have a great one-year ranking position, but you still have to fight to avoid qualification round for the Crucible. You have also talked a lot recently about the importance of safety game, importance of playing more and more matches. But in general, what will the key to getting back to the top 16 and doing well in the Crucible?
Yeah, so this season, as I do in most seasons, I look back on the previous one. I think, what can I do better? And I think that last season, because I think maybe players felt as though I wasn't maybe playing as well, they were taking their chances more. I felt as though when I was still aggressive, they weren't put off by that too much. When you're winning things on a regular basis and when you're aggressive, your opponents don't want that. So I thought, well, okay, I'm going to try and make myself just really, really hard to beat. So it's not really kind of like, it's not like how I want to play, but I thought it was necessary in improving my ranking, because I think that at the start of the season, for the Masters cutoff, I think I was around 33. So the fact I just missed out, I got to 17, was like an amazing effort, right? And the basis for that was making my safety game really hard. Maybe not the best to watch at times, but I had to focus on get the results first, establish a really good defensive game. And now for the second half of the season, now I'm gonna learn from what I have in the first half of the season, knowing the shots to deny people just easy chances. And now I feel as though I can be a bit more aggressive now. And it helps as well, winning a tournament in the season as well. It just gives you that kind of extra confidence. So the focus for the second half of the season, the fact I've qualified for the Grand Prix in Hong Kong, big tournament now, the Players' Championship, and in a really good position to be in the Tour Championship, means I can play with just a little bit more freedom and hopefully, be a bit more aggressive. I feel as though sometimes this season's been a little bit pragmatic, but I felt it was necessary to really get the results, because I think that when you're playing really good safety, you're always in matches. But when you're aggressive all the time, sometimes you may lose without really doing much wrong. So it was important to establish that defensive base first. And now, second half of the season, I'm going to be much more aggressive.
About the Budapest Masters, I will show two photos from the first snooker gala.
Oh yeah, yep.
And this is Bulcsú.
Oh wow, yeah.
It's 10 years old, and now he celebrates his birthday. What advice would you give to a young player outside the UK, like either Bulcsú or any Australian player, to help him make his breakthrough and play big matches on the main tour?
Yeah, so I think the first thing would be to and which he's done that already, is find a base in the UK where he can like play at an academy or something like that. You know, it's something that I didn't have in the first couple of times when I like turned professional. There was no academies at all. So the fact he you know, before he was at the age of 18, actually go to the UK and, you know, play at the Victoria's Academy in Sheffield, absolutely perfect. So he's practicing with really hungry players, very good players as well that he'll be learning off. And just try to improve as a player every year, you know, because this is his first season and, you know, he's only just turned 18, so he doesn't. It's important that he doesn't try to force results to happen. Like, I must win, I must win, I must win. At the moment, it's actually not really that important. To him, it obviously is different. He will think differently. Yeah. But the most important thing is for him to just keep improving as a player, and keep doing the right things. You know, make sure you're working hard, make sure you're practicing well, which I believe he is doing. And yeah, try not to put too much pressure on himself. I mean, being the first professional to come from Hungary is just absolutely amazing, and it's great to see the growth of snooker in Europe as well. We have many younger players, not just from China. Actually, we have a lot from Europe, which is brilliant to see. So he's just got to do that. Just keep improving as a player. You know, because he's so young, there'll be lots of things that he can improve on. So that makes it quite exciting for him, that there's so many things in a day that he can actually work on to get better. Where I'm at the stage where, you know, I'll be practicing and I'm trying to improve something by like 1%. It's quite tough. So the fact there's many things he can work on, and he's also doing it with other younger, you know, really hungry players as well. Shows to me that he's got a great attitude and that he's doing everything really well. So he just needs to keep doing what he's doing. It's important not to put pressure on himself to win, because that will come. The more he improves, the more he'll get better, and the results will come. And he's already beaten, you know, a couple of really good players already this season. So, you know, no matter what happens, at least he's got some great experiences so far already.
In general, would anything apparent rules of the snooker, maybe a calendar or tournament format, but how can snooker be fancy and popular for the new generation?
Yeah,
I think it is a problem nowadays.
I think the dress code probably needs to be looked at. I think that the history of it is nice. I think for the Triple Crown events, UK Championship, Masters, World Championship, the waistcoat and bow tie I think looks nice, but I think in tournaments like the Home Nations events, when you just have the players just wearing black trousers and a black shirt, like we all look like we're kind of like wearing a uniform, in my opinion. And I think that since I've got into golf, I've actually seen all the different clothes and things, and they actually look really nice. And I think in the Champion of Champions, I thought it was something different. You know, I thought the shirts weren't. I thought they were super comfortable to play in, and I thought it was just something different. You know, and I think that snooker will never be classed as like a sport where we're running around like on a football pitch or an athletic track, but I feel as though more could get done to make younger people take notice of the sport, because I know that my son, you know, my son would be watching snooker and think like, I don't think I'd want to wear a bow tie and a waistcoat, you know, to play a sport. Like, I think that we need to find like the right balance there. You know, I like in Wimbledon how they keep everything. Everyone has like the white tradition of the clothes, and so I think in snooker keep the tradition maybe for the Triple Crown events, or maybe some of them in China. But I think we need more events where we've got a little bit more freedom to express ourselves with, you know, the way we look. You know, don't look silly, but wear really nice clothes that just. So we all just look a bit different and have our own sort of personalities, which, you know, we see in a lot of sports now, and like golf in particular. You know, like golf used to be the same. Golf used to just be just polo shirt, trousers, everyone kind of looked the same. Now you have more people sort of bringing younger audiences in because they're wearing sort of different things, and they're able to express themselves in a different way. So I think snooker needs to follow a similar pattern.
And just under two questions. You once said you were 21 years old in a doll queue in Melbourne, and the future wasn't looking so bright with snooker, but left the queue, went back home and had a think about things and decided to give it another crack. If that hadn't happened, where would Neil be now? If you weren't a snooker player, do you have any idea what you would do nowadays?
Wow, I don't know. I really don't know. Yeah, it was like, it wasn't a very good sort of like time in my life. It was pretty hard. I didn't have any sort of like school education or anything back then. I left school when I was very young. So I'm really not too sure. I think, I don't know, maybe if I had an education or something, maybe I would have got work and then maybe not forced myself to practice even more as a player. Because that happened like, maybe just a few months before winning the World Under-21 Championship. So, and then after winning that in New Zealand, that's when I got my wild card to play on the professional tour again. So I'm not too sure. I mean, I think I would have had to find something to do, obviously. I always enjoyed graphic art and stuff, and so probably would have been something to do with that, probably with computers, with graphic art design, something like that. Very passionate about that.
And about the future, if you close your eyes and jump forward 10 years, where do you see yourself? You have fallen in love with golf, maybe.
Not a pro golfer.
Maybe you could be around the golf courses with Mark Williams.
Yeah.
Or another
every day he's playing.
Yeah. Or around the snooker table as an expert, as a commentator, like maybe you commentate in BBC, or a coach or a player. Can you imagine your life without snooker?
Yeah, I really don't know. Like, whenever I stop playing, whenever that is, I'm not too sure. I mean, when I do stop playing, it will be kind of like on my terms when I want to stop playing. But afterwards, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed doing the commentary in the World Championships, which I've also done it before for Eurosport and the Masters, actually, as well. Yeah, not too sure. Maybe some coaching or something, like as a mentor role for a younger player, maybe. I really don't know. I think there's like a lot of options out there in what I wanted to do. I think like family life would be the number one focus for sure. Then, like Penelope will be like 15 years old, and Alexander he'll be 24. Wow, so that's crazy to even think about it, really. So. Yeah, I really don't know. But I'd still love to be involved with snooker in some way, for sure. That's something I've really admired about people like Steve Davis and that, and such legends of the sport still being involved. And and then I only see sort of snooker keep improving, especially worldwide as well. So who knows? I really don't know, but I'm sure it'll be something exciting for sure.
And living in the UK, or maybe go back to your home country?
Yeah, I don't know. That's another really good question. I'm really not too sure. That's always what I had planned, was to move back to Australia, obviously. I really don't know. I have absolutely no idea. I think that, and you got people like Ronnie O'Sullivan, John Higgins, Mark Williams, who are like 50 now, or close to 50, still winning tournaments and stuff. So, like when I moved to Cambridge 2003, it's like when you were like 32, 33, you were like finished as a snooker player. Whereas now it's like you can keep playing at the highest level towards 50, which is crazy, So, I really have no idea. I may still be one of the top players in the game. I may have stopped by then. I don't know. But I think that's what makes it so exciting as well, that you can never really sort of like put a planned sort of like timeline on things.
Thanks, Neil, for joining us, and good luck for the Budapest Masters and for the rest of the season also. Good
Thank
luck.
you very much. Thank you.